Welcome to the latest edition of the Hudson County Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Haig, and the Hudson County Sports Podcast is brought to you by the great people at Strulowitz and Gargiulo Twin Boro Physical Therapy, located on Nardone Place in Jersey City. Telephone number there is 201-792-3840. And the second sponsor is the great people at Stand Sports Center, a place that you're probably very familiar with. They are located at 528 Washington Street in Hoboken. The telephone number there is 201-798-4466. And with me today is my special guest. I'm going to go on a limb and say she's the best all-around softball player that Hoboken High School ever had. She is one of only six in 40 years to make all county all 4 seasons of high school. She then went on to play collegiate softball, and then she turned her talents into coaching. And just recently, no more than 2 weeks ago, she led her Weehawken High School Indians to the overall Group I state championship game. Unfortunately, they lost to the defending champion Clayton, but that's nothing to sneeze at, considering the fact Weehawken never got that far before, and 27 wins is an incredible achievement for a school like Weehawken, and that's nothing. No one's ever going to take that away from my special guest today, and that is Raquel Roder. Raquel, how you doing today? I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks for sharing your story. Okay. All right, let's go back to your childhood and go back to when you were just growing up. What was it like to be able to play all the different sports that you were able to play, no matter what the season was, knowing fully well that you lived in general proximity to a park and a field?
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of 4 kids, and I have 3 brothers, so I have built-in teammates my whole life.
Yeah, and one of those brothers is Kenny Roder, who was a 2-time, take it back, 3-time All-County pitcher. So you got him by 1, and but he was as good as he got on a high school level as a pitcher. And he had a great career there. So you had Kenny is one of your brothers, and you have 2 others who also participated in sports. So I guess you had no choice in the matter but to play sports, correct?
Right, and you know what? It wasn't like I was ever forced into it. I always just loved doing it. I'm not sure if it's because I just wanted to be, like my older brother Tommy. We were very, we're close in age. We did everything the same. We were like little best friends growing up, so I always wanted to be part of like the crew. So it was, Tommy and all his friends, like, anywhere between like 8 and 15 guys, and then me.
And did you have to work hard to get accepted by the kids to play in the courtyard?
No, and I don't know if it's because like the kids were just nice or whatever, or maybe I was just like mean back then, but. Looking back, I'm like, oh god, people tell me stories. Like, you used to kick me all the time, but I don't know, I stood up for myself. I was never like the person that, like, you take Raquel. It was always just like, I was just picked, like, one of the guys to be on the team. My dad, he would come play with us also. Basically a big kid his whole life.
Right.
And, would really, make sure everyone knew, like, Raquel gets treated like everyone else. Like, do not baby her. Do not take it easy on her. We used to play hockey at the multi-service center. We used to play roller hockey, and I never forget. Like one time we were playing the game, and we'd like check each other into the boards a little bit, and I was like going as hard as I could, like trying to like fake hurt these kids, like checking them, and they wouldn't like touch me, and I didn't say anything. And my dad was like, "Stop the game." He's like, "No. Hit her, check her, treat her exactly the same as everyone else. She's fine, she can handle it."
Okay.
And like from that moment on, it was just like it wasn't even like, oh, Raquel's a girl. It was just we're just playing sports. Everyone's playing sports. That's fine.
Okay.
So.
All right. So before we go any further, got to explain that yes, indeed, she is named after the famous actress Raquel Welch. And did you ever ask your mother why did you have the name of Raquel after Raquel Welch?
I mean, it's not like she was like, Raquel, you're 10 years old now, you should know that you're named after her. It was just like, oh, Raquel, like Raquel Welch? And as like a little kid, I was like, I guess. So I went home and asked my mom, who's this lady? She's like, oh, she's known as like a sex symbol, a beautiful lady. And like, I was probably standing there in like my older brother's like jean shorts, probably like dirt on me, like a little scruffy type of okay, that's really fitting.
Real fitting. You and Raquel Welch. Yeah. So, but anyway, all right. So sports was always a part of your life, right? And you played the different sports according to the weather.
Yeah, pretty much according to the season.
Yeah.
When it was like snow out, we'd go to the park. I lived on like a perfect block. I lived on 4th and Bloomfield, so like one block was 4th Street Park, and the other way up past Washington, like a little field. And
yep.
Then in Denver High School, we had the parking lot, which was like our baseball stadium. So we played football and hockey, baseball, obviously. Never really basketball. But my mom used to take us. It's so funny because my dad is like the athletic one, and my mom, to this day, still comes to like the games. Like my dad said the other day, I can't believe your mother doesn't know anything about baseball still. She knows the phrase "can of corn," and that's like it. She would take us to the basketball court at night when we were like little kids, and we'd watch like everyone play basketball, and that's like what my mom liked to do. But we never played basketball. But I ended up playing volleyball in middle school, and then was on like a very competitive club team for like 7 or 8 years.
And where was that club team from?
So originally, our school team started one in Hoboken Catholic Academy, and then
okay.
I played on Digs. And
oh, you did?
They were like highly competitive around New Jersey.
Yeah, very much so. I didn't realize you played for Diggs. So you must have been one very good volleyball player. And
yeah, I was scrappy.
Yeah, scrappy and everything. And see, that's something that I never knew about you as being a volleyball player. And like I said to somebody just recently, the biggest kick that I get out of doing these podcasts is that no matter what it is, I always learn something about my guest that I never knew before. And sure enough, you fit right in right here. I never knew that you were that proficient in volleyball, and sure enough, you've now stayed the course. It's something else I didn't know anything about. So, all right. So when you were growing up in grammar school, going to grammar school and all, was there a favorite sport that you had, and was it always softball?
Honestly, from probably like 9 or 10, always played. Well, before 9 and 10, I used to play baseball all the time. And then I started to play softball and pitch, and I loved it. But once I got into like club volleyball, I was like, oh my god, this is like so much fun. You get to like dive around and throw your body around. It's like competitive and very very active. Although I used to pitch, and I was probably the only one with the ball at that time.
Right. And obviously, when you were pitching, nobody else was hitting it. So
right.
Yeah. I can't imagine what your record must have been playing either like rec softball or whatever.
I have to admit, like I guess in high school I got significantly better than I was as a little kid. But when I first started to pitch, all I knew was try hard, throw it hard. I used to hit girls. Oh my god, I hit some girl once, and my first reaction was to laugh. I thought the girl was being dramatic. I never forget it. Like my dad came on the mound, he was like, "Do not laugh. Get the ball back and walk back. That's it." And I was like, "Okay." So never again. But these poor girls are getting piled down. I'm learning. So.
And obviously you were learning, okay?
Yeah.
So, how old were you when you first started playing sports?
Like on a team, probably 9 or 10. Before that, I'm sure my dad had me outside at like 4 years old.
Wow. Okay. Now, did you play competitive sports at say 9 or 10? Did you get to play like say recreation? Did you play for any specific teams that you played for? And were you good right away?
And just for the record.
For the record.
I do not like to speak highly about myself. I get very.
No, is that true?
I don't say I was good, but I was definitely one of the experienced players. Like,
okay.
I was, considerably good for 9 and 10-year-old person. Because I had so much experience playing with like the boys. And
right.
When I got on to like a Hoboken rec team, some of these kids have never played before, and I have like years, fake little kid years of experience. Aside from like my dad used to like, I don't say the word train, but like teach us.
Right.
From a young age, like you're gonna do something, do it the right way. So he like teach us from, probably 3 and 4 years old.
Wow.
And
did he know that he wanted to make you into a pitcher?
So, very, very quick, funny story, but
go ahead.
I was playing baseball with my brothers and everyone across the street, from whatever age it was. And then my neighbor, this guy, Joe Ward, actually, his daughter used to pitch for Hoboken High. She's very good also.
Yep.
They walked by once and saw me playing, and he was like, "Why don't you play softball if you're old enough?" And I was like, "I don't know. It never crossed my mind. I guess I wasn't even thinking. I'm like a 9-year-old. I'm not thinking of this stuff."
Right.
And he literally like crossed me back over across the street, rang my bell. My dad came down. He's like, "You have to come on the team." So he asked me if I wanted to play. I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And there was like a little, I guess like a tryout of like big teams at the multi.
Okay.
And I never forget, like walking into the multi, my dad's like, "Okay, it's a clinic for pitchers and catchers. What do you want to do? You want to pitch or you want to catch?" And like without hesitation, I'm like, "I want to catch." And he goes, "All right, you're gonna pitch." I was like, "Okay."
And that was that. That.
You know what's funny? I remember like 2 things.
You never asked your father.
Actually throw it. And then I remember them treating me like someone that has never touched a bat and ball before. And they put me on this like team really, really close to the mats on the wall. And they're like, "Okay, so just swing as hard as you can." And I was like, "Okay." And I swung, and the ball came back so fast and like knocked the wind out of my stomach.
Oh, really?
And immediately they were like, "Oh, she's good. Like, move back." And I was like, "Oh God, I just like broke my ribs." So I guess at that age, like kids are really still learning, and I had a little bit, a little bit more knowledgeable like that.
Yeah, and I guess you also then terrorized the rest of the kids on your team because they saw you taking one into the chest and you didn't budge.
Yeah.
So that opened up some eyes right away. They probably said, "Whoa, this, she's tough."
Yeah.
And you were. I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, Raquel, but you weren't blessed with all the size in the world either. So did it matter to you that you were, say, shorter than the rest of everybody else?
No. I feel like that's more of a sensitive subject with like Kenny, my brother.
Oh, he's very sensitive to that. Yes.
Yeah. But no, honestly, I'm like super proud of him because he never made it like an issue. Being a shorter pitcher. But me, no. When I was young, I was like very, very skinny. So I think I had like the illusion of looking tall.
The illusion.
Recently, I became a phys ed teacher, and I have like 7th grade students, and I'm like, "Oh my God, these kids are so tiny," and like my coworker is like, "They're taller than you." So that's when reality kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. So okay. So were you disappointed when you said the pitchers and catchers going, and you said, "Okay, I'm going to be a catcher," and your dad said, "No, you're a pitcher." were you disappointed that he almost predestined you?
No, not really. I mean, I trusted his judgment. I think he tried to sell me on it's not that safe. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Meaning what? Getting hit with a line drive coming back at you?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what he was trying to do there, but I guess it worked out. And I literally, it's funny because when I went to Hoboken High, Carmine Rondo, I pitched like every game. And one game, this played the school create. That's obviously not around it.
No. Create Charter, which is where it was located is in the grammar school that I attended. Yeah, it was St. Paul's of the old St. Paul's of Greenville is where Create Charter was, and now it's used for Innovation Academy. They don't have their own teams, but Innovation is what uses the old St. Paul. St. Paul's was a great athletic school. Boy, oh boy, was it competitive, So pretty funny that you went to you. Now you didn't attend classes at Create, did you?
No. We were playing against them.
Oh, playing against them. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. And we were like up by a lot, and he was gonna put me somewhere else on the field and take me out, and I'm like, please let me catch. And everyone's big thing is if you're a pitcher, you can't afford to get hurt, so put me somewhere safe.
Okay.
And I'm begging, I'm like, please let me catch. I'm not gonna get hurt. He's like, better not get hurt. I'm like, no, I'm not. It was the most fun I ever had.
Okay. So you were the reluctant pitcher. How about that? See, there's something else I didn't know about you. You were reluctant.
I definitely love pitching, but it's fun to do, something else once in a while.
Right. All right. Now, did you know, since you never were able to get a chance to play against top level competition as a pitcher, did you know that you were going to be good at pitch? No. Okay. No. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that my dad kind of taught us to be kind of realistic. He would not hold back. If we did bad, he told us immediately.
Right.
I thought I did pretty well in some games, and he was like, "What are you doing? That wasn't good." And I was like, "Okay," and instead of being upset about it, it pushed me to be better. So fortunately, I was mentally tough that way. But I definitely would hit a lot of batters when I was younger and learning. But I definitely had the speed. I had I thought the mindset of being tough. That if I walked someone, I wasn't upset about it. Or someone got a hit, I wasn't crying about it. But every year or every game, I got progressively better. And it wasn't dramatic day and night, but I knew I was getting better. And then when I played summer ball, it was kind of clear. I'm okay, I'm pretty good at this. But yeah, I guess it's the nicest thing I'll say about myself.
That's it. But you were pretty good right away. Now, you mentioned your brother Kenny, who he didn't have the fortune of being a 4-time All-County player, but he was twice All-County, and he also was the Hudson County Player of the Year 1 year. So, did you have any kind of competition at all internally with Kenny that helped to drive you as a motivation?
It's very weird because we're all very competitive. But we never really got into it. We never really were against each other or never saying. I think Kenny was honestly a little freak of nature since he was a little kid.
Okay.
I'm not lying. If anyone ever drives past, Demarest used to be high school, now it's Hoboken Middle School.
Right.
Whole building. When he was 6 years old, we purposely wouldn't cross him across the street because he was a little terror. And he would just scream like, cross me, and then if he would ask like random people to cross him, and then once he would cross the street, he would grab like our tennis ball and throw it over the roof of the building as a 6-year-old. And like, I don't know if you understand like what I'm saying, like how high the building is. Like 6-year-olds can't throw the ball 10 feet.
Right.
And he was like roofing tennis balls, and people would like come, like all my brother's friends would be like, give Kenny a ball, watch him throw it over the roof. If you ever want, anyone who plays tennis, there's probably like 8,000 balls. People like watching him do that. But, we all knew that he was like freakishly good as like a very young kid. Like when he went, like when I started playing, it was like, oh, she could be good. Like she throws hard, a little wild. Like Kenny was like immediately very good.
Okay. And he was the one stat, and I might be wrong about it. I didn't look it up beforehand, but I should have. But I'm pretty sure that he one year struck out 171 batters and walked 4. So the kid, he had incredible control. I mean, so
He he should do like party tricks. He went to I played softball in Patterson, and he came to a game, and like he had to get a doubleheader. And in between the games, he was like on the football field, and he was on the 50-yard line. He's like, I bet you I hit the right field post.
no.
First shot did it. I'm like, what is wrong with you? But he's like very good at stuff like that. He has amazing control.
Amazing is an understatement.
I'm so happy right now. So Kenny, you're welcome.
Yeah.
But no, we always support each other. Yeah, Tommy played baseball. He was very good. I think Kenny and I stood out a little bit more to the pitchers.
Right.
My youngest brother Ricky, he was also very good. He pitched a little bit too. He was a good outfielder. But we all supported each other. It was kind of hard for me because I was playing in college while Kenny was like having the best high school career of his life.
Right.
So we're like kind of trying to make it, going back and forth between our games. And then right after that, I started coaching, and then Ricky was in high school still. So we all support each other.
That's a great thing.
I'm not saying we didn't fight growing up, but.
All right. Were there fights over the remote? What to watch on television, and if that was the case, did you ever have a chance of winning?
Yeah. Yeah. At one point, we were all like the same weight, height, strength. So it was definitely chaotic in the Roder household. It definitely still is, but not as bad as it used to be.
Not as bad as you. Okay.
My poor parents.
God bless them. Especially to have to put up with pitchers, because we all know pitchers' mentality. It's like a different breed of cat. So, all right. Talk about when you first started playing at Hoboken High. Did you have any idea how good you could be, or did you have any kind of concept of how good you were compared to everybody else?
Well, so growing up, I think it was pretty obvious, but in rec and cat, I'm experiencing this now when I'm coaching. Like if you have a decent or a good pitcher, they kind of put you on the team. You don't really need that many people behind you, like defensively, to kind of handle the ground. And I always felt like I was on a weaker team. And honestly, my dad used to coach my younger team, and we did really, really well. But we were, on a team of girls that never played before. And then I actually went to Academy of St. Aloysius high school first before I went to Hoboken High.
Is that true? See, there's something else I didn't know about you.
Yeah.
See?
Yep. And that's when Rhonda started to come into the picture. He used to, always try to convince my parents, your daughter's from Hoboken, send her to Hoboken. And I went to Catholic school my whole life, so my parents wanted me to go to Catholic high school. And they very quickly saw that, the school was a great school, but definitely not an athletic school. It's very small. I'm not boasting. I'm just being realistic. It's almost
you could brag as much as you want to, Raquel. I'll let you do it.
because there wasn't even anyone that could catch me.
Right.
Like, the umpires would tell me I wasn't allowed to pitch window because the girls couldn't catch, and the umpires were getting like hit.
Oh my God. Oh
So I
God.
wrote like a strikeout record, a home run record, every record. And in my head, I was like, well, this sucks because someone like hits the ball, like we're gonna lose.
Right, because nobody could catch it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said because nobody could catch it.
Right. And then we play at Lincoln Park, and literally in the same like diamond was St. Dom's, and then they would play like Hoboken High, and I would see all my friends and like everyone that I play with was like getting recognition. As I got older, I was like, okay, so I think about college. I really want to play college. I'm like, I'm never gonna get noticed here. I never forget like one day coming home like so upset. And, we'd win games and stuff, but I would just be like, this kind of sucks for me because I'm like hidden over here. And Rhonda's big thing, and it's not even like we're like, it's not like my parents are at home like extremely religious, and they just, they're trying to do the right thing for me. They're trying to continue my education throughout like Catholic school. And he's like, if you want, I'll put a cross on Hoboken High. Like, we need you to come to Hoboken High.
We'll put a cross on Hoboken High. Okay, that's good. Did Ranga say that?
I'm sorry?
Did Ranga, was he the one that said that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well.
And I never forget our first like winter practice. We were inside, and I was like standing in line with like Jennifer Weehawken, who I'm sure everyone knows that name.
Sure.
Athlete, three-sport athlete.
Better as a soccer player though.
She was honestly fantastic in three sports. Soccer, yeah, everyone knows her for soccer.
Right.
Softball and basketball. Her and I were actually inducted in the Hoboken High Hall of Fame at the same time. So,
oh wow, that's a good treat. Good tribute to you, both of you, because you're both way deserving of it. There's no question. So.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. So I remember like Rongan hitting like ground balls at the girls, and I was watching them, and I never compared myself to anyone. I always had like the mindset of like there's people just as good or better than you, like still work hard. And he hit me like a ball, and I had to like backhand, and I made like this little like fake backhand play and blue ball. I never forget like hearing this girl like flash is good, and in my head I was like, but then pitching, it's like day and night, and you have like a team behind you and everything. So that transition was like, I feel like I could finally relax. Like I used to run, when I was younger, if someone would hit the ball, I would like to run almost like past second base or help them get the ball really quick because I knew what to do with it.
Okay.
Then you go to Hoboken, I was very fortunate. I was on a team with great athletes. So definitely reassuring as a pitcher. Okay.
Were you surprised at all with the incredible amount of success that you had right away? Like right away as a freshman, you were having great success as a pitcher. Were you surprised at all because you couldn't judge yourself against somebody else?
I was more surprised because I didn't pay attention to the statistics. Like I knew I was doing well because I could see that obviously like no one was really hitting the ball or you win games. But I was like not a big stat person. I always try my best to be like very humble and just appreciate the sport and just try my best. And I believe the first time it like occurred to me was when you interviewed me, and I believe the title was like Eye-Popping Performance by Roder, and like on the phone with me, I never forget staying on my parents' bedroom talking to you, and you were like, do you know that you have like 12 home runs, 8 assists, this many strikeouts, this, that, and I was like, oh wow, like no, I didn't know.
No. Well, everybody else knew. Everybody else knew, especially from freshmen, but you didn't pay attention to it.
Right. Like I knew, I knew I was good, but I wasn't walking around telling everyone I was bad.
Wow, no one. Who's going to do that? Nobody's going to brag about themselves being that good. But however, you were that good, and you helped to turn that. Well, the program was pretty good before you, but you your 4 years, they knew, everybody knew in the county that if you were going to try to beat Hoboken, you had to somehow, some way try to beat Roder, and that wasn't going to happen.
Right.
I don't even.
It's funny that Rame used to say all the time. He used to, at one point, I never forget, one of the games we were playing, the coach was like picking up on my son, like the pitches I was throwing. And one of the girls like said out loud, like, he's calling the pitches or something. And like, if anyone knows if anyone knew, Mr. Roder, no nonsense, whatever. And they're screaming out on the field, I don't care if they know, they still have to hit it.
Right.
Like, that makes sense.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense. And they did. And guess what? They didn't hit it. So, all right. How much fun was it for you to be part of I can't say rebuild, but the continuation, I guess, is the best word to use. Continuation of some good success that was held ahead. And how good of a feeling was it for you that you were able to continue that success and take it up a notch, raise it a notch, and be able to play, battle for a county championship all 4 years?
Right. Well, immediately into Hoboken High, they just graduated Natalie Lugo, who was, very successful, great. Another person, like, you throw the name out, everyone's like, oh yeah, really good pitcher from Hoboken High. So like immediately I was into like that position of like, I don't know if people were questioning how I was going to be as good or whatever the case was, but I was just, immediately focused on like, helping out the team, doing my best. Some of my best friends that I still literally talk to every day are on that Hoboken High team. And at the time, like, it's just fun.
Okay.
Fun and obviously we wanted to win, we did really well, but I remember like the little things of like staying after practice for like 2 hours every day and hitting with like, my two friends, Gargiulo and Sanchez and like Ashley Barron, like every single day. And I think because like I love softball that much, or we love softball that much, like it obviously helped the program, but we were just like having fun doing it.
Okay. And it was a lot of fun to win too, right? That's not a bad thing to have. So
right.
and with you in the circle with the ball in your hands, you gave Hoboken chances to win that they hadn't done before. Although Natalie Lugo had a great career, but nothing like what you had. And how much fun was that for you to be? This, you're in the circle. You control the destiny. You're the one who's going to control pretty much the outcome of every game. And was that a good pressure to have, or was it really tough to battle that type of thing?
You want to know something very funny?
Sure.
I was reflecting on this. It was like the first thing I've actually compared back to like my career. I try not to put myself in like the girls' shoes right now, because I think it's like unfair sometimes to like compare these kids to like how we used to play. But my pitcher for Weehawken, Savannah Raquel, is phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
The best, seriously. She's amazing. And we went to play, one of our bigger games. I was like, you nervous? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, what are you nervous about? And I was like thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I wasn't really nervous in like those big games because I felt like I had control and like the game kind of was, depending on how I did. Whereas coaching now, I am so nervous. I'm nervous for the girls because I have no control over what they're going to do. So like it wasn't until, I guess I was like, confident and, it's not only myself and my teammates when I used to play, but now like coaching is like a totally different thing because you're in one of these situations where like, you make a decision for these kids, like a pitch selection, or sending a runner or bunting, and it's like if it works out in your favor, you're like the best coach ever, and if it doesn't work out, you're like the worst coach ever. So, I definitely feel the pressure more now opposed to like when I finished.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't know if many people can say that, but I guess I'm weird.
No. We all know you're weird anyway.
Yeah,
But the idea that you were more nervous as a coach than you were as a player, that's totally different. I don't know if any other coach would agree, but I mean maybe that might have to be like a poll question, or ask other coaches that played. Now I'm curious now too. So, but you got more nervous as a coach than you did as a player?
Yes.
Wow.
And not like I was cocky. I was just confident. I knew, I had a team behind me. And for the majority of my career, leading up to those big games, our league games were like, not saying they were like, extremely easy, but no one really hit the ball up. So going into like these games, I used to feel like, I don't know how good these girls are, but like, they still have to hit.
Right.
Our team was a very good, hitting team, so I knew we had a chance. But yeah, I was definitely confident pitching. Now I feel like I have, only a little bit of control, but I can't play with these girls. And my girls honestly have been like tremendous. They're honestly like the best kids in the world. I swear to God. But any other sport, one of these kids has like a high school breakup. That could be the whole season.
And that's one of the wild things about coaching girls. In the fact that I coached girls for girls basketball for the longest time. If you did not you were not addressed like the little clicks or whatever. Like there was one time I remember my point guard would not pass it to the wing. All right, so I finally stopped practice and I said, "Why in the world do you not pass it to the wing? You know the play. It's got to go through the wing, for the play to work." And she said to me, she goes, "She stole my man."
There you go.
Right? And I said, "Okay, that stops right now." I said, "You're a 16-year-old girl. There's no man on the floor." I said, "You're all right." And she goes, "I don't care what you do when you leave here, but right now, while you're playing and you're wearing the Academy of St. Aloysius on your shirt, you're mine. So I'm going to tell you right now, you pass the ball. And if you don't pass the ball, you don't play. Like that type of thing. If you got to listen to me, I'm telling you what it is. I don't know whether or not you've run into any of the clicks or the strange things that obviously boys don't handle because there's no, they might beat each other up after practice is over or after the game is over. But while the game is going on or whatever, they have a certain decorum that they got to live under. And
yeah, I guess because like I addressed it like day one of like interest meetings, sign-ups, like just so you know, we're all on the same page. If you're gonna play on this team, we all have to respect each other. I don't care if you guys hang out after practice. I don't care if you guys secretly hate each other, but it does not come on the floor, on the floor or the field or whatever I'm coaching.
Right.
And honestly, I can truthfully say and proudly say there has not been any issues. They probably the best kept secret, but my girls actually have like excellent chemistry, especially this year. Like this is the first year that I've been on the bus with them, and every single girl is like in the back of the bus, like crunched together, cracking up, like having like the time of their life. Usually it's like a little bit more scattered. You kind of see, not so much cliques, but more of like friend groups who stay together. But I think that's honestly, I think that was a factor in our success. Like it just works so much better if everyone gets along.
So the closeness helped?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Trusting each other, holding each other accountable. Those are easier conversations to have if you get along with someone, I think. So.
Okay. All right. So, but let's go back to your playing days. Did you know that the team was doing well and that now you have to control things because the ball is in your hand every single time? And did you like that pressure? Did you thrive under it, or was it tough for you and then you had to pretty much control your emotions?
No, I definitely where I got to come into being weird, but I made it that it wasn't pressure. It was like, and I have to give credit to my father. He used to be like, Raquel, you have no emotion on the lounge. Like, someone hits the ball with you, if you hit someone, if you're doing well, you act like you've done it before, get the ball back, and just throw the next pitch, and that's it. Do not show emotion, because you're going to show these kids, like, almost like weakness, and they take advantage of that. And I never forget, like, little girls softball, like a lot of cheering and stuff. Right. And the other team would like cheer so loud, and I'm sure they thought, which what our team thought, that they're getting under like the pitcher's skin. And I used to like sing the song with them. Like I used to love those little cheers. So I took it as like, oh, they're cheering for me, like whatever.
Okay.
And then in pressure situations, I didn't even know what was going on. I was just focused on pitching.
Good for you. All right, so now you have a great high school career. However, you weren't highly recruited by other schools. And was that a little disappointed, not getting, scholarship offers, say, from other schools in, not even local, I'm just talking about in general. And were you a little disappointed that maybe, I don't know, was it your lack of height that kept you away from getting, certainly wasn't velocity. So did you ever think about, like, why in the world you didn't get a lot of Division I offers?
Sometimes. I felt like when I was in high school, I remember people talking about me to other people, like, in front of me. Like, oh, this is Raquel Roder. She's this. And they're like, oh, what school you're going to? And I would, like, for a second be like, oh, geez. I think when I tried to play at William Madison, like I didn't, like people were waiting for me to say like UCLA, these like big schools. But from I guess being around college softball, from coaching girls right now who I think honestly are like D1 athletes, it's like big fish, little pond. Like a lot of people don't realize. Like, you could be the absolute best person in Hoboken, and you go on a team, and everyone is just as good or better than you.
That's true.
But, I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I don't know if I was really disappointed. I remember, like, one time feeling like...
Were there any Division I schools that offered you?
No.
Wow. That is absolutely astounding. Absolutely astounding. So, all right. We will be back with more, and Raquel's going to elaborate a little bit about why she wasn't recruited more when she was in high school. Back after this word first from Stand Sports Center. Stand Sports Center is your local full-service sporting goods vendor and authorized team dealer. They offer quality products and dozens of brands to outfit your team top to bottom. Stans has been proudly supporting the local community since 1946 and is your one-stop shop for uniforms, equipment, online team stores, and so much more. Locations in Hoboken and Saddlebrook, and now they have a warehouse in Boonton and servicing the entire tri-state area. Visit them on the web at StansPluralSportsPluralCTR.com. Again, repeating that, StansPluralSportsPluralCTR.com, and check them out on social media for their latest creations. At Stan Sports Center, located at 528 Washington Street in Hoboken, telephone number 201-798-4466. And here's a special deal for you. If you mention the Hudson County Sports Podcast at Stans, they're going to give you a 10% discount on all retail items that are bought in the store. Not a bad deal. All right. So all you have to do is go in and say, yes, I listened to Raquel Roder and the Hudson County Sports Podcast, and you get 10% off. And it's not a bad deal at all. And I'm grateful to the people at Stans like Danny and Todd and Louie and the great people down there. They take care of us, and they've been a sponsor from the beginning. And I'm really happy to have this association with Stans. And I know that they got to be really happy in the fact that we're honoring one of Hoboken's finest, and Raquel Roder this week. So at Stan Sports Center, located at 528 Washington Street, Hoboken. Telephone number 201-798-4466, and you get a 10% discount on anything in the store. Not a bad deal at all. So Stan Sports Center has been a sponsor of the Hudson County Sports Podcast from the beginning, and I'm really happy to have that kind of association with the great people at Stan's. Okay, let's continue on. While the recruiting process was going on, were you a little bewildered? Were you scared? I mean, what was going on through your mind that you were not getting the top flight offers?
Right. I think at the time I guess I would say distracted or like occupied with like volleyball.
Oh, okay.
Like I said earlier, like I played some volleyball, and my parents, spend all this time and money traveling back and forth and taking me to all these tournaments, from 7th grade throughout 12th. And every weekend we're playing on Penn State, Villanova, Hudson County, and all these big places. And at that point, I was like, I guess I'm going to play volleyball in college. I think Temple reached out to me at one point, and I was like, debating that.
For volleyball and not for softball.
Right.
That's just unbelievable. It really is.
Yeah. And now they mention my height. I am very short.
Yeah. So I hate to say it, but there are a lot of places that don't spend enough time to get to see somebody play in person, and they only just go by what's on the sheet, and they say 5'3", and they want especially as a pitcher, they want the 6 foot burly, strong pitcher, and they probably just look at your height and say, okay, chalk that off without even getting a chance to see how good of a pitcher you were. So.
Yeah, actually, when I went to William Patterson, I sent them like a tape first, and then the coach came out to see me. And I remember walking in for like my first meeting, like speak with her, and like the first words out of her mouth were like, "Oh wow, you look so much bigger in the tape."
See, that must have been rewarding.
Yeah, and in my head I was like, "Oh, I hope I look skinny." I guess that's on the shorter side, but I guess volleyball looks at that a little bit more than softball does. But I guess at a high level, it's like almost like the standard,
Yep.
for the sport.
And when it comes to softball, they look at every little thing, especially the D1 schools. They want somebody who's going to be 6'1" and standing in the circle as an opposing figure, and the rest is all words. Like if you're not 6 foot tall, you don't want no part of you. And I personally don't like that stature. I don't like that idea, but that's the way of the world when it comes to college recruiting. It's just one little blip.
Yeah. Do you want to know something else that's pretty funny?
Sure.
I never played another position. I only pitched. From playing with my brother.
You never played another position in your life?
No.
Unbelievable. That's it.
But I knew, my dad used to always be like, you need to know how to play every position. Why? I don't know, I only pitched, but it worked out to my benefit. But, I guess everyone was like very realistic with me and not feeding my head with like these crazy thoughts of like, yeah, you're going to pitch for like North Carolina. It was like, okay, if you want to play softball, you'll learn a different position. So I was like pretty fast, I guess you would say.
Yes, that you did too.
I was like, recruited, quote unquote, I guess, to pitch at William Patterson. And my first day there, she was like, "Oh, you're really fast. We could use you in the outfield." And I was like, "Really? I'm a pitcher."
Oh no! Is that what happened?
Whatever you want me to do, sure. And I played the outfield, and then at one point, our second baseman was hurt or something, and they were like, "Can you play second?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I played a very little bit of second base, third base. I used to catch for the pitchers and catchers
Oh my God. Oh God.
But it goes. I mean, in that situation, it goes to show you, like, you know, if you ask anyone from Hoboken, not anyone, I don't mean to be like that, but if you ask people who know me, they're like, oh, she's the pitcher. And then I went to college, you know, expecting these girls to be just as good or better. And, you know, I went to William Patterson, and, you know, shout out to Division III schools, especially like the NJSIAA conference, because that was the most competitive Division III in the country, the NJSIAA conference. And we would play Division I schools during spring break and, like, kill them. Like, my team was excellent, honestly. We used to play there. And, you know, like, fine, I was, like, very good, but there were girls that were better than me, or, you know, I was utilized in a different position in college. So I don't think that, I think that people should, I guess, have a backup plan, or have an open mind, or being well-rounded, you know, especially if you're thinking about playing at the next level.
Right. Especially having an open mind would definitely would help the situation a little bit, especially when it comes to, you know, getting recruited. It's
There's other girls that just want to pitch. It's like, okay, well, you sit the bench and wait your turn to pitch. Meanwhile, I was like, I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah. And were you a little disappointed in that respect, in that they were looking for you to play another position, like they didn't know that you were strictly a pitcher in high school?
At first, yeah, because especially when you come back, everyone's like, how are you even pitching? I'm like, I don't pitch. And it's like, what? There's that conversation. What do you mean you don't pitch? I'm like, yeah, I don't pitch. I also was like a lefty batter my whole freshman year. I just like slapped it and bunt.
Oh God.
And Hoboken, you know, considered a power hitter.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you move up with that competition, you know, you trust the coaches, they know. But yeah, I think I pitched like 3 or 4 innings one time, like my senior year.
And that's it. And that's it.
And in an alumni game against the girls the next year, and I did like pretty well. And I was like, yeah, it's not a surprise, I pitched.
Wow. All right. So, talk a little bit about the decision to go to William Patterson. Was there any other school that was in consideration?
Yes. So I guess right away, I think I see me being like oblivious high school kid, I guess. I was like, no, I definitely want to play in college. And then I was like, I want to go somewhere that I can play volleyball and softball. And, you know, whoever knows the whole collegiate, you know, athletic situation, like,
right.
Very people do it, like, kudos to you. Like, I would love the opportunity to do that. But I was like, maybe I'll just go. I applied to like Arizona State. No communication with the coach or anything. I applied to Arizona State as like, let's just see. And I got in, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna go like try to walk on Arizona State. And I was like, and not thinking that I'd play. I was like, maybe I'll be like a base runner. I'll just be like strictly a runner or an outfielder and whatever. Because like again, not being cocky, I'm not going to say I would pitch for them. I definitely, you know, I don't think so. But as a fielder or like a runner, I could work my way in. I'm like, maybe I'll do that. And then in the meantime, I was looking at, you know, like local NJAC schools, and you know, I went to one, and I had like a few conversations with the coaching staff or whatever, and I just didn't feel like comfortable. And then I went to William Patterson, and I felt like, I don't know, just like an immediate, like I knew like right away, I could definitely like see myself here. The program was like legit. We used to, you know, practice all year round.
Big time.
Weightlifting, all that stuff.
Right. It was a big time program for Division III. It really, you know, it really was. You didn't get labeled, you know, Division III, so therefore you were inferior. No, that's that.
I
Certainly.
People that say that, like, oh, D3, yeah, play against the D3 school. They're excellent.
Especially in the NJAC. Like I bet you could tell, like when you went to go play somebody else that was an independent game that was out of the conference, and you probably said to yourself, wow, how do they even try to compete? And that's the way of the world in Division III, especially in the NJAC. That is what it was clearly one of the most competitive conferences in the country. and certainly, all the only thing that was holding everybody back was the tag of being Division III. But other than that, those teams, those programs were pretty good.
Right, and I think it's like even more like admirable that these people or these athletes are going there and they're playing and dedicating the same amount of time, effort, putting your body through all this for free. No scholarship, no money. Yeah, maybe academic, but whereas if you go to like a smaller Division II or Group I, like you get money, and at least it's like, at the end of the day, like, well, at least they're paying for my school. Like,
yeah.
Division III, you're playing solely for the reason that you love the sport.
Right, not getting anything in return. Right.
Easier.
Were you disappointed at all with that, Raquel? Were you disappointed that you didn't get more offers or you didn't have other chances to play at a higher level?
Yeah, I think so in the beginning. I think I felt that way until I started to play in college. Like that whole summer, like going into it, I was like, damn, everyone's like asking me, and everyone's like so shocked. And in my head, I was like, I don't know. Should I have gotten offers? Am I really that good? Are people just, clueless town fans that are like, just super proud and impressed by things? Or did I get like screwed or whatever? But like right in the beginning, I was like, oh no. And you kind of feel like almost like disappointed or like you let down people. Like my parents put a lot of time and money and effort into everything all of us did, honestly. And I'm like, damn, I wish I could have helped them. Money to go to school. But once I went to college, like day one, I was like, oh my god, this is like legit. And I felt like, very, very okay in my decision. And like, I knew it was like very good softball. If I played somewhere and it was like kind of like a joke or like a high school team or the girls weren't that good, I would probably feel like even more disappointed. But I played with like very, very good, good athletes.
Right.
So.
All right, and then what was obviously you majored in education? Was that the idea? Did you always want to be a teacher and a coach?
Yeah. So when I was in I guess my junior year, there was a college fair, and I was like walking around. And I was always into like fitness and health and stuff like that. And I remember like checking off one of the boxes, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I was like, maybe like nutritionist. Meanwhile, all I eat is like Tito's from 7-Eleven. They're the best, by the way.
No. Okay.
Like nutritionist or some kind of like health option. And then I was like talking to the phys ed teacher, Mr. Ciriello, and he was like, and he used to call me like coach, and Rhonda used to call me coach, and I just thought they were like joking around, but he was like, never thought about being like a phys ed teacher? He's like, you literally coach the girls on your team.
Right.
And I like at that moment, I was like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. And he put in my head like, you could be a phys ed teacher if you really wanted. You could try to go back to Hoboken High and coach volleyball. I used to swim for Mr. Ciriello, swimming and softball in your hometown. And I was like, that sounds like the best idea ever. And honestly, I did that for like the first year of my, I guess, professional life. But yeah, right from that, I was like, oh, it makes so much sense. Like it came kind of natural because, like I said earlier, like I was always on a team that girls didn't really know how to play yet, and I always had the patience and the mindset to like teach them instead of being like upset by it and complaining. It was like, let me help the girls so it helps all of us. And when I was in St. Aloysius, I would tell the girls on like Saturday morning, like, come to Hoboken, let's have practice. And, like I would like teach the girls how to play. So I guess like it was very natural. So I guess it was like a no-brainer, and it was like the best decision I ever made.
Okay. All right. So when the time came to pick the school, William Patterson stood out, and that was going to be the school where you wanted to go? Did it matter to you that you were staying close to home?
When I was like on the fence, like going back and forth about like going to Arizona, and it wasn't like a long, wasn't a long thought out process, but it was like the excitement of like, I could go to Arizona State. That's so cool. I'm definitely like very family oriented, and when I really thought about it, I was like, William Patterson is like very good because it's far enough that I have to live on campus, especially if we have like early morning practices.
Sure.
But it's close enough that I can always come home, or if I forgot something, someone could bring it to me, or whatever the case was. So it worked out perfect. I don't think. I mean, I'm sure it would have been fine, but I'm definitely happy with my decision to stay, relatively close.
Okay. We'll be back with more with Raquel Roder after this message from Strulowitz and Gargiulo. For over 40 years, Strulowitz and Gargiulo Twin Boro Physical Therapy has been caring for Hudson County. With modern state-of-the-art offices in Jersey City, Bayonne, and Hoboken, you can count on Carl Gargiulo and his highly trained, experienced staff of physical and occupational therapists to help you recover from an injury, get post-operative care, or reduce your pain and help you get back doing the things you love. From back pain to balance difficulties, sports injuries to joint replacements, Carl and his staff will help you regain movement, resume activities you love, and recapture your independence. The phone number there is area code 201-792-3840. Please feel free to call Carl directly with any questions and visit their Hudson County offices or any of the other 42 Twin Boro locations located throughout New Jersey. To learn more about Twin Boro and physical therapy, please visit the website, which is www.twinboro.com. Boro spelled B-O-R-O. Strulowitz and Gargiulo Twin Boro Physical Therapy is an in-network provider accepting all major insurances. And from a personal standpoint, I've been a patient at Strulowitz and Gargiulo for the last 9 years, and I can fully well trust. When I first got introduced officially to Carl, I could not walk at all. I had to use a walker to get around, and they helped me tremendously in my recovery, and where I was able to get back into the swing of things, and had very limited use of the walker. So now I'm walking again, and I owe it all to Carl and his staff. They do a tremendous job, and my voice is going further and further away. I wholeheartedly endorse Strulowitz and Gargiulo. They do a great job there, and I'm proof. I couldn't walk at all, and now I can walk. So I guess that's about as a resounding commitment that I could give to the place. So it's Strulowitz and Gargiulo, located in Nardone Place in Jersey City, right off of Kennedy Boulevard, and the telephone number there, 201-792-3840. And just mention, if you call, mention the Hudson County Sports Podcast, and they'll work on giving you some sort of a boost, so to speak, in your payment schedules or what have you. So I am very, very fortunate to have two great sponsors that have joined this project wholeheartedly and with enthusiasm, and they are two legends in healthcare and recuperation, whatever. And I can't imagine the number of athletes in Hudson County that have gone to Strulowitz and Gargiulo to get back into the swing of things. And I was there earlier this morning for the first time in a month because I've been laid up, but I was glad to be back and working on the treadmill and working on the elliptical. And they're just great people at Strulowitz and Gargiulo, and I wholeheartedly recommend them. And give them a call 201-792-3840. I gotta try to see. I'm gonna grit it out and see if I can make it through the rest of this podcast with no voice. So all right. So talk a little bit about you making the decision to go to William Patterson. Was there any other school that was in the running at that point, or you were head over heels with William Patterson? Was William Patterson the number one choice right from the beginning?
Before my first option was Montclair State.
Oh, okay.
Because from Hoboken, a lot of kids went to chose Montclair, and it's very easy to just go with the crowd and go there. But I ended up, I don't know, I didn't feel comfortable there, I guess.
Okay.
Or I definitely didn't get the same feeling that I got when I went to William Patterson. And I honestly, I guess it's just the way I am, but I try not to, I don't do things on purpose, but I'm very mindful of I don't have to do what everyone else is doing.
Good.
But I felt, confident in my decision to go to William Patterson.
Okay.
So.
Did you know at that point that you wanted to be a teacher, or was there something else in mind that you were thinking about?
No, I went in knowing that I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your experiences at William Patterson. Was it everything you hoped it was going to be, or would you like to add maybe a championship or two to hold on to for the rest of your life?
Well, my first year there, we won our NJAC.
Oh, you won the NJAC. Okay.
Yeah. So that was right off the bat. It was oh, it's better than this.
Yeah. Make it look easy.
So honestly, my experience there was great. I know everyone, hearing people talk now. I think any college you go to is what you make of it. From having high school students, there's a lot of faculty in my building that went to William Patterson, and some people were yeah, it's okay. Other people loved it. Some people hated it and regret going there. These high school kids, they want to go to big schools because they see them as party schools. It's kind of, how you are, who you're around, what you make of it, what your priorities are. I knew that I was going to put myself in a lot of debt to go to college so I could get me money.
Right.
And, my parents are co-signers on my loans. So what am I going to do? Ruin my life, ruin their life, basically, to, just to experience school, strictly to party. I knew that I wanted to go to college to play softball. And William Patterson had a great phys ed program. So it was the best of both worlds at that time. So my experience was great. I went to class in the morning. You have, as an athlete, you have the privilege to pick your classes before anyone else. So you learn from the older kids, you want to take these classes. My classes were 8 a.m. I think I was done by 10, and then I would go eat lunch and then have practice, and that was my job.
Okay.
Practice, which is anyone who loves sports, that's fun. Doesn't it's not considered anything. And then you make I joined there.
Okay.
So my best friends now are from college.
Wow. Okay.
So I overall had a really great experience. I got to see my family a lot. They got to come to my softball games. Mr. Ronga used to come to my softball games and support me with the Hoboken High girls that were on the team then. So it was good. Everything worked out. Okay.
Talk a little bit about your relationship with Carmen Raga, who unfortunately passed away. I'm going to say, I'm guessing, is it 5 years ago? Okay.
Yes, 2017.
Wow. All right. So talk a little bit about your relationship with Coach Ranga, and I guess you stayed close to each other all the way up until his passing. He died of pancreatic cancer.
Leukemia.
Oh, he had leukemia. You know what? You are right. So I apologize. Talk a little bit about your relationship with Coach Ranga. What was that like?
Well, Rhonda was like basically my second father.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and at one point he was more of like, again, yeah, father or like a really good friend. And I tend to become friends with older people. I think they're like most knowledgeable and wise and like, good stories and company. But he coached me and had all the confidence in the world. Like, I didn't have to be confident or cocky or anything. Like, he was that. He was so proud of, like, his program and girls. And was, like, our number one, like, supporter and, everything. And then, he would always say, like, play in college. When you come back, you always have a job here. You always have a job coaching with me. And he was definitely a man of his word. And, immediately when school ended, I gave him a call and I asked, if he needed help coaching. And he was like so happy to get that phone call and took me on. And it's really funny because a lot of people, and I'm sure, if Margaret or Angelica, his wife and daughter, are listening to this, they'll probably laugh and agree. Like, Ron is someone that you either like love him or you hate him because he told you like exactly how it is.
That's correct.
He, had a lot of enemies, but he also had like amazing people in his life that I met through him that I'm still very close with. I only saw when I was in high school, like the coach Rhonda, like he was my coach. He told me what to do. Then when I came back to coach with him, I never forget like my first coaching experience was, and I think this is him. He always used to say, like, this is my philosophy. I am not lowering my standards with the kids, to meet the kids. The kids have to meet you. If you keep that, keep your standard high, then the team will be successful. And little did I know, he was also talking about the coaching staff. Our like, I was like fresh out of college. I was still going out in town or whatever, but we had like an early 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. practice on a Saturday, and I was like 3 minutes late. And the locker room, as I'm walking through like the stadium, I see the door shut, and I'm like banging on the door, and no one's answering. And I know the girls are in there with him, and I'm like, he's not letting me in. And I'm like calling him, no answer. He finally opens the door like 10 minutes later. He's like, what time is practice? I was like, 9 a.m. He's like, what time is it? I was like, all right, like 3 minutes late. He's like, no, you need to be here on time. And he's like yelling at me. So I was like, okay. Like, that was it. That's all I needed. Like, a little kick in the butt, so I can't move this. And then another time, in our first scrimmage or game, he was like, as a coach, I think the outfield needs to move in a little bit. And he's like, all right, so move him. And this is me like, yay, Coach Rocco. And I was like telling the girls to move in. I guess they didn't hear me or it wasn't enough. And he turns around and like looks at me and goes, wait, he's like screaming at me. He's like, did you tell him to move in? I'm like, yeah. Did they? I'm like, a little. He's like, forget it. And he yells at the girls, move in. And then he looks at me and he goes, why do I have you if I have to do it? And I was like, all right, like this is it. And I was like, oh my God, is he mad at me? And I was like, after the game, he's like, no, I'm not mad at you, but you need to learn how to, use your voice, be confident, coach the girls. And I feel like he, mentored me into being like the coach I am today.
Okay.
Which I don't really yell at anyone, but he was definitely.
And he was an influence, no question, right?
Absolutely. And then I used to lifeguard at the Boys and Girls Club, and then at Marine Youth Pool, and he was my supervisor there. So more of like my friendship with him, and I guess 5 or 6 years that I spent with him were not only coaching, but I used to spend like 10 hours a day sitting by the pool with him, and we would just talk, with like Charlie Romney, another Hoboken legend.
Absolutely.
Your dad understands Charlie's always in there.
Absolutely.
And we were like the three amigos. Every single day, like I like just literally talk about like Hoboken and sports all day. And I feel like that's where like we became like very, very close. And you know, and then I got my first coaching job, and I would call him after every single practice and like explain to him like what was going on, things I was nervous about, and kind of like coach me through it. And like I get like super emotional, upset about it, but like things like being successful in Weehawken now, or like in any coaching thing, like I always find myself like, oh God, I wish I could like call him out. Like, he would like get such a kick out of this.
Right.
And it sucks that I can't tell him, obviously, but I know
Right.
he's probably cracking up or supporting me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very, very close with him until the very, very end. And his family is amazing, and they used to say all the time, like, wow, he considers you just as much as his daughter as he considers us. Melissa, Angelica, Josh, they all welcomed me, and part of the crew.
So he was a major influence on you.
Yeah, definitely.
Good man.
Oh yeah, he does. Like I said before, people didn't like him. He's very honest and held people accountable sometimes. But I appreciated that, and I don't know.
Yeah.
We just got along.
Well, and life isn't fair because he's gone way too young.
And something that I always think about when I think of him and I get like upset is that when we used to sit by the pool, he would like talk about like his past and things he would do and stuff, and he would just like laugh and be like, "Oh God, if I died today, I had the best life. I had a really great life."
Oh really?
And, he didn't even know he was sick at that time.
Yeah.
And he would just say that.
It happened so fast too,
Right. It was very, very quick.
And it's a shame because he is missed. There's no question. And he left his program to Vinny, and oh no, wait a minute. No, Vinny's not there, right? Vinny's at no, Vinny's at Hoboken. I'm losing track. All right. So when you're now done and you had a very, very good career at William Paterson, were you thinking about the possibility of becoming a coach? And you had some open-ended offers that going over the years. Was there ever the thought of coming back and working with Ranga at Hoboken High?
Yep, immediately. I knew I wanted to coach like from day one, from like high school. But yeah, I was very eager to coach. At William Paterson, we run like softball clinics and stuff, and it just seemed so like effortless and simple and easy. And then you also have like the reward factor of like kids actually, you can watch them progress and get better. And yeah, you like to think a little bit has to do with what you're telling them. So yeah, I knew I definitely wanted to coach. It was like my first phone call like after I like moved back home.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
And there was no thought in the process right there. You wanted to coach at Hoboken, and you got the opportunity to do so. So that must have been a blessing.
Yeah. I did exactly what I wanted to. That Mr. Strulowitz, put in my head like, you can come back. You can be the phys ed teacher here. You can coach. So I went back and I got my sub-certificate, and I worked in the elementary school there. One of the teachers was out on a medical leave, so I was like a full-time sub there, so I was there every day. I coached softball, swimming, and volleyball. And then Mr. Strulowitz went through a few medical issues, and then I took over the swim program. And then he also was the volleyball coach, so I took over the volleyball program. So I was in Hoboken High, I was living my little dream out for a while. And then, then I got my first job offer from Woodridge High School. So at like 21, I was phys ed teacher and the head softball coach at Woodridge.
Okay. And how long were you at Woodridge High for?
I was just there for a year.
For 1 year, okay. When the job opened up in Hoboken, did you jump really quick and say, boy, oh boy, I want this? Or you didn't get a chance to coach at Hoboken, and that's how Weehawken got into it?
So I was already the assistant at Hoboken High, and then I went to Woodridge because there's a position open, and at the same time, Rongo went to Harrison.
Yeah, that's right. Rongo went to Harrison.
We were coaching, not together or whatever. And then after I was technically a maternity leave at Woodridge, but I was the head softball coach. But the girl was going to come back in the fall. So my job wasn't secure. And then Rongo was like, well, if you want, you can always come coach with me. And think about what I did. I gave up my head position to coach with Rongo again because I really looked up to him and appreciated everything he had taught me or whatever. He was mentoring me basically. So I gave up the Woodridge position and was an assistant coach at Harrison with Rongo. And then I applied for the job. There was a position open in Weehawken, and someone I did student teaching with in Union City. How nice is this guy? He was my cooperating teacher. He reached out to me. He's like, hey, I hope you don't mind. My friend works at Weehawken. There's a position open. If you're interested for a female teacher, I recommended you. I was like, thank you so much. I literally applied for the job and got it the next day.
You're kidding?
Yeah, I was crazy. So, thank you, Yuli Del Rio.
Oh, wow, okay. Yuli coming through in the clutch. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, now, what was your first thought of going to coach at Weehawken? Obviously, you were aware of the team and you were aware of the program, but actually, even though it's less than a mile apart, it's like light years in difference because Harrison plays in a different league and Weehawken plays in a different league. So I mean, it was so it was a little different. But did you like the idea that you were getting a chance to coach and teach? Right down the block from where you grew up.
Yes, and I even I don't think many people know this, but before I took over the head program at Weehawken, I left Harrison to be the Weehawken JV coach because the program at that point was very good. It was also a varsity program. They had two child sisters,
right?
Jenna Costa, and all these girls that were super successful. And I was like, you know what? He's gonna graduate a ton of girls. And I was just hopeful that I could help the program rebuild. So I was like, I'll take over the JV program if they hire me, and then I can help, progress and help the varsity program. And then hopefully in a few years, I could help coach varsity. And I took over JV for a year, and then the head coach ended up leaving, and I applied for that position and got the position. So it worked out that I basically coached the girls I had for 4 years there.
Wow.
So it worked out, I guess, with good karma. But I gave up the head coaching position to be, an assistant and then a JV coach.
Yeah.
Which honestly, just more of a challenge, but it's a good feeling, I guess.
Okay. Now, were you familiar at all with the Weehawken program at all, or did you have to do a little research and stuff before you were able to step in there and get that job?
I knew that their softball program at the time was very good. I was a teacher in the building, and I just remember when I was in high school playing Weehawken and beating them and thinking no offense to them, but they weren't that competitive back then.
Not at all. Not one bit.
But then when I was a teacher here, I was like, oh, these girls are really good.
Yeah.
And and then that whole group of girls graduated, and we had a lot of potential for upcoming girls. And I was like, this is perfect. I can work with them. but the progress from a few years ago to now is it's astonishing. Honestly.
Well done. The proof is in the pudding. 27 and 3 will do that for you. So did you have any idea at all that you were going to be that good this year? Did you have any idea that wow, we have a chance to be a really good team?
So the really cool, interesting thing about our team this year is that we have 4 girls that have played softball competitively, for the majority of their life, and they're young, but they played club softball and they're excellent.
Okay.
And then last year I graduated 7 seniors, so I literally this year, 5 plus 4 girls, I only have 2 returners.
Wow.
I had, I brought up girls from JV, and also I took girls that we got girls that had never played softball before. So Jack Montanelli is my assistant coach, and honestly, he's the best. The girls love him. He's honestly the best assistant ever.
Okay. The best assistant coach ever.
The work will be in the girls that don't know how to play, making them work together, getting the girls that know how to play to help out everyone else. Big group project here.
Yeah.
But from day one, our first practice, our first scrimmage, I have to shout out my left fielder. She played 3 years of JV as a third baseman, and I put her in the outfield, and she was almost scared of the fly ball.
Oh wow!
That flashback to 2 weeks ago, she's making these running catches that it looks like she's played outfield her whole life. My center fielder has never played softball before. My right fielder has never played softball before. Our third base, all these girls have little to no experience at all. And I'm really proud that I can say that it's not, we're definitely, obviously, as everyone knows, everyone says, as long as you have pitching. But I have, Savannah, who's amazing. My sister Brooke also pitches, who's also amazing. She pitched the perfect game in 3 or 4 no-hitters this year.
You're kidding?
Yeah, she's excellent too.
Okay.
My catcher is a freshman. She's unbelievable. I'm not lying, unbelievable.
Okay.
Envy Duran. And talk about it was I know her, but you should see her head. Amazing. Amazing. We were led by my senior shortstop who caught the year before that, who was an outfielder the year before that, who was a shortstop the year before. He was just all around good coachable kid that would play anywhere to help the team. Morgan. And although it's easy to say they're carried by those 4 girls, we really won. I mean, obviously they keep us in it, and that's the whole thing. But a lot of these big games we won with hits from the bottom of the lineup, or them putting the ball in play by bunting. Out of nowhere, someone will make a really good catch that's unexpected. So it was really a team effort. So I think that's what's really special about this team.
Did you have any idea that they were going to be as good as they were?
Sorry, I'm very distracted. Our first scrimmage, we played, I think, North Bergen, and we made, I'm not lying, every mistake there is to make. And I was like, oh, Jack, we have a lot of work to do.
Okay.
And we used to say, as long as we can hold these teams to 1-0, we'll be good. We just got to score 1 run, and then we can hold them with our pitching and defense. And then we, 2 weeks later, we open up against Immaculate Conception, who's, a very respected, excellent program.
Right.
And we beat them, and I look at Jack and I'm like, oh, geez, we're going to be, if we can get it together and clean it up, we're going to be dangerous. We'll be really good. And honestly, my JV coaches and Jack called us from the beginning. Our goal is to win, the league, the Hudson County tournament and the state tournament. And saying that, looking at the girls I had in the beginning with their experience, I was like, it's gonna be tough. And then as we got closer and closer, at the end of our games, we did the same thing. Our target's gonna get bigger. The teams are not gonna get easier. We gotta keep pushing, whatever. And after first or second game, we're like, oh, we have a legit shot. So we just, it worked out really well, and everyone bought into the program, and I really have to
Well, mention you mentioned Jack Montanelli. Mention the other members of your coaching staff.
Napier Albright and Corey Ferreira.
Okay. And are they both products of Weehawken? So
they are.
Okay. All right. So you had a whole Weehawken staff. Did that help that they were that they knew what they would they knew the program, they knew the nooks and crannies, so to speak, that you had a chance to be pretty good because you had a good hard-working coaching staff?
Oh, absolutely. I think I got a lot of, I guess, compliments. Or people would tell me, you seem so calm. It's just because I have people my coaching staff that are supporting everything I say and back me up and work with the girls and do everything I ask and we're all on the same page. So I think that helps tremendously. And honestly, with that, the support we got from the school, the district, the community is unbelievable. The parents, when usually you hear nightmares, these teams are good, they're oh, but the parents are crazy. The parents have been excellent. I think everyone, we truly felt that everyone had our back throughout the whole season. Anything we needed, bringing fan buses to the game, recording the games live. At one point, we played the Hudson County Championship. It was during the day. They recorded it live, and the elementary kids were watching it in school.
That's really cool. That's cool.
It was we're little superstars to these kids.
Yep. And it gets them interested at a young age. So in this way, when the time comes for them to play, they'll, they got their finger on the pulse. That was a real good thing, and I'm gonna probably guess that Brian Calgi had a lot to do with that because he's Mr. Technology. So he probably had a lot to do with getting that available for the kids to see.
Yeah, he stood there at the game and held his phone live the whole game.
He recorded that game with his phone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh God.
Yeah. So it was honestly really, really good. Everyone, the mayor, the superintendent, our athletic director, everyone, the parents, our recreation program, sending out emails for the kids to come watch our games. That's so cool. Honestly.
Yeah.
And it made, our girls feel, welcome, appreciated, excited to play.
Okay.
I think that's important, building a program.
Right, and to get that kind of support from top to bottom,
Right. I got calls and texts from people that I haven't talked to in 12 years. Hey, I'm following your team. I'm so proud of you. Keep going. I'm oh my God, it's the best thing ever. It's just so nice, to see people that actually care and support me. And it goes to show you have to talk to people every day. The friendships you make that last that are really important. So,
no question.
I think I was telling you earlier, my biggest fear is that people don't actually realize how much I appreciate the support and stuff. It's insane.
Well, tell them all and make sure, because you know what? This is the first taste of major success that the athletic program has had in quite some time. So you got to capitalize on that. Just like watching the game in the classroom is a huge step. And that's got to help tremendously. Just the idea of the kids getting exposure within their own people, within their own hometown, and that's an experience that'll never go away. And you were able to record it all for them. So I just think it was a win-win for everybody there. That's just a great step. So.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
All right. All right. So now, what does Raquel Roder do for an encore? And are you already working towards next season?
I just set up my summer with working with Weehawken Recreation, who's honestly, I have to shout them out too. They're very, very amazing and lenient with trying to help these programs. So I just set up a 3-week summer clinic for softball. I'm also the head volleyball coach here, so I also got another 3 weeks in with volleyball and asking my varsity girls and my younger girls to come and help work with the youth. And it's going to be pretty cool because these are the kids that they just saw playing on TV.
Right.
And so now they're more likely to listen to them as they kind of know them. They know they're big time right now. They're playing and stuff. So that's pretty cool. It also gives them experience working with little kids. So it helps me out obviously. So yeah, my summer is stacked up with sports.
There you go. You're all set. You're ready to go. All right. And talk a little bit about the relationship you have with your brothers, and are they very still supportive? And do they play? Do they still play games with you, like say in the schoolyard or in the courtyard or whatever? Or are those days long gone now that you're approaching 30?
How No, honestly, my brothers actually drive. My youngest brother drives by my softball practice on his bike with his son and watches practice sometimes. My older brother actually works in Hoboken. Works in Weehawken.
Oh, really? Okay.
So yeah, it's so fun. So he works in a building where some of his kids live. And
oh wow, okay.
Roder, and he's all proud. That's my sister. So they all come in and talk about him. So he's Mr. He should be on a talk show. He loves broadcasting and doing live Roder reports on Facebook and stuff.
Okay.
So he's the hype man. And then and Kenny's been to a few of my big games this year. So they're definitely and of course my parents. They're definitely very, very supportive. And in terms of games, anytime anyone's together doing anything, it's if we take out a football, who can throw it first? It's just playing catch. This isn't us. Our more recent thing now is playing golf with my dad.
Oh, okay.
Tommy, my older brother, was a very good golfer when he was younger, and my dad was always into golf. Never just wanted to pass that to me or anything. But,
no.
During COVID, I started to play a little bit with my friends, and I told I wanted to make sure I was at least acceptable enough to play on the golf course with my father. And now Kenny all of a sudden, Mr. Aspen, he's never played before in his life, and comes on the course and beats both of us first time. Never swung the golf.
Of course. Of course.
Now we do that together.
Okay, well that's great. That's great. And then you probably got that all planned for the summer. All right. How good was it for you to get a little taste of success in only your third year as being the head coach, and how much does that motivate you to keep it going and to make sure that this was not just a flash in the pan?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always a goal at the beginning of the year. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But with just seeing how far we've come with our experience, the fact that my team is very, very young, and knowing that we took girls.
How many seniors did you have?
We had 4 seniors.
4 seniors, okay.
Yeah. So, knowing that what we did, how far we've come, and, when the girls we have with their experience and limitations and stuff like that, it's now it's, there's no excuse to not, be at that level. And if anything, it holds the coaches more accountable. It holds the program to a higher level. I think it helps. It's such a good way for me to try to get girls in the school to play sports. Everyone loves to throw around the softball. I never played before. I won't be good. And I could say, just so you know, most of these girls have not played before, and we were very good this year. Just give coach, and that goes for every sport. No one likes to go outside of the comfort zone and do things, because they're afraid to not be good at it. But
right.
Give the coaches a chance to do their job, and the progress is within a week. It's tremendous. Definitely hold the coaches to a higher standard, and hold the girls to a higher standard. The fact that we made it that far gives the girls something to push for again. We told the girls after our game against Cleveland, get used to the schooling, get used to playing in front of a lot of people, having a lot of attention, reporters in the dugout, people interviewing you after the game, crowds going crazy. That's what it's all about. It's exciting.
Yeah, without question. And you got a little taste of it yourself and say, hey, this ain't bad. Right?
And it honestly, it helps me out because I have to keep my composure for the girls.
Sure.
I like I said earlier, everything I do is obviously for the kids. I stress out for the kids so they don't have to.
Right.
I worry about every little thing.
That's your job to worry about every little thing. It's not theirs. They just got to show up and play.
Right. I literally, I know from pitching, I bring nail files to the game. Your nail, it sounds so girly, but if your nail cracks in the pitching, it's a huge thing.
Yeah, sure.
I get to prepare for stuff like that, bring sunscreen to the games. I'm like the mom.
You didn't think you were going to get 15 kids that early.
Right, I know. Who thought?
And you're not even married.
I am married.
I'm married. Oh, when did you get married?
May 7th last year.
Oh, well, congratulations on that. What's your husband's name?
Andrew.
Okay. And is he a local guy?
He's from Nutley.
Oh, Nutley. Okay.
Yeah.
That's local. That's local enough.
Yeah.
And was he an athlete himself?
He played soccer in high school, but he's an athletic trainer. That's how I met him. Willie Patterson.
Oh, you met him in Willie Patterson. Okay.
I met him after I blew out my ankle my junior year. So I met him in the training room.
Well, not a bad place to meet somebody.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? So, all in all, Raquel, looking at the entire picture, how great is it that you've been able to achieve so much so soon? And you've now led the Weehawken softball program to new heights they never reached before. And how much did that motivate you to get back?
Yeah, it is. It is honestly, it's almost surreal at this point.
Okay.
I know, someone told me, make sure you take a chance and reflect everything because it happens very fast. And it's true because we had the Bayonne game, Hudson County game, we lost. We had prom that night. The next morning we were going to Cedar Grove in the state section.
Oh God.
You don't even have time to absorb the loss. One thing after another. And now my focus is the girls are gonna be tired from prom. They're gonna be so upset that they just lost. One of our girls couldn't make the game. She was sick. So I had to put in someone who never played that position. All these things. And looking back, it's wow. I'm just so unbelievably proud of the girls. And honestly, the whole Weehawken community. Because we really, honestly, I know people say stuff like that. It sounds cliche until it happens to you, I think. But, we, or at least I, to speak for myself and say that, I truly felt, support from everyone in the town. And I think it helps make my job a lot easier. But the student growth game, I'm not, from my childhood and from my dad and stuff like that, I'm not really an emotional person or whatever. If we win, I'm okay, girls, act like you won before. We lose, okay, act like you lost before. Play we won our state section against Cedar Grove, and I was so happy for the girls after like a huge loss. We lost to Bayonne 1-0 the day before, and I didn't even have a chance to breathe, and it was like super special because I'm not sure if you know how the game went, but our Bayonne game, there was a base hit to right field, and the girl misplayed and went into her glove, and there's really no there's no fence. So
it just kept rolling.
That was the winning run.
Oh, wow.
So then the next day, that girl, I had to move her to second base because my second baseman was sick, and the girls never played second base. And we're playing Cedar Grove, just won last year, excellent program, excellent girls. And the girl who made the mistake at second base, top of seventh, made the last out to end the game. And it was like so special for me to experience like her get that, because like at that moment she was probably feeling like all this pressure that she already made, a mistake from yesterday, and what people would look at as like that cost you the game, which it really didn't, but so I immediately like couldn't breathe and was like hysterically crying, and I was like so out of character to be hysterically crying, but I was just truly like so proud of the girls and so happy for them that they could experience that. So yeah, I guess I'm emotional now.
Yeah, okay. Nothing wrong with that at all, Raquel.
Yeah, so. I'm a proud parent.
There you go. All right, so all in all, when you think of it, how fortunate are you to be able to have such a great career as a player, and then to catapult that into a great career so far as a coach? How fortunate do you feel that you've been able to have that kind of success at such a young age?
Yeah, I am very, very fortunate and grateful. It's not easy.
No.
And I think everything is what you make of it and the standards you hold for the girls and yourself. And at the end of the day, it's not about how I look. I want the girls to play to their potential. I always tell them, like, if you come into practice, why wouldn't you give 100%? Like, why would you leave and not try to get better?
I know.
Everything you do in life, you should try to be the best at. And I think, like I said earlier, I think the girls, not so much as they bought in, but like believe in themselves now. And I think this is sometimes the kick in the butt they need to see, like, all right, we can be this good, we are this good. Going into playing Clayton, those girls, like everyone's like, that team is amazing. They're so good. They play together forever. I was like, girls, not for anything, but we're playing against them. We're that good, right? They have the titles in the past, but like we earned our way here. So we can say that we deserve to be there, and I think that's really special. But to have a very successful high school career myself, to have a successful college career, to be able to coach a successful team, I mean, it's really, really special. And I'm definitely very fortunate and grateful for everyone who's ever coached me, helped me, reached out to me, supported teams and programs and myself. So it's really, it's really great.
Well, Raquel, I thank you so very much for taking the time to tell us the whole story about the great Weehawken Indian season, and to reflect back on your great high school career. It's been a pleasure for me to be able to cover you all those years, and the more the merrier. Now you got something else to shoot for, and that would be an overall Group I state championship, and that wouldn't be bad at all. Or better yet, how about winning the county championship? That would be also a big thrill. So you got something to put on the plate to show the returning players that you got something there that you can go for.
Absolutely.
Well, Raquel, thank you so very, very much for sharing the story with me today, and I wish you nothing but the best success going forward, and we will definitely keep in touch.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Great talking to you.
Same here, as always. We'll be in touch in the future. Thanks, Raquel. You take care of yourself. All right, and that was my special guest today, Raquel Roder, who had a great high school career at Hoboken. Now she's currently the head softball coach at Weehawken, which went all the way to the Group I state finals this year. Unfortunately, lost to Clayton, but still, the idea that Weehawken being on a big stage is a tribute to Raquel Roder and to the Indians themselves. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast today. Again, thanks to my special sponsors, who are both Stan's Sports Center, located on 528 Washington Street in Hoboken. Telephone number there, 201-798-4466. And also to Strulowitz and Gargiulo Physical Therapy. Strulowitz and Gargiulo Twin Boro Physical Therapy, located on Ardone Place, up near Joe Square. And the telephone number there is 201-792-3840. This is a great podcast today, and we'll have more again in the future. Thanks to my great sponsors, and thanks to the endless array of great athletes that we've had coming out of Hudson County. Thanks so much for listening today. Oh, and special thanks to my executive producer, Johnny Haig, my great nephew, who, without him, there would be no such thing as the Hudson County Sports Podcast. He's done a tremendous job getting me on my feet and being able to shuffle the cards, so to speak, without a lot of hard work behind it. So, Johnny, thank you so very much, as always. And thank you very much for listening and paying attention. Hudson County, we've got a lot of great athletes that come from this area, and we are blessed to have somebody like I'm drawing a blank. I just my blank. Raquel Roder, please. Sorry, Raquel. I'm very, very sorry. Raquel Roder of Hoboken fame, and now currently the head softball coach at Weehawken. Thanks so much for listening to the Hudson County Sports Podcast today. We'll have another one next week. Thanks for listening, and we'll keep in touch. For now, it's Jim Haig signing off. Take care of yourself.